I'm Dennis Anderson along with Pamela Fish, and here's what's coming up tonight on Almanac North.
3 new city councilors were elected in Duluth this week. One of them is taking his position immediately, filling an open seat, and we will talk with him tonight.
In Duluth school elections, a 2-tiered operating levy received voter approval, and 3 new school members were elected. One of the new board members is here this evening.
And the Greater Downtown Council's plan for temporary pop-up stores in Duluth has been so successful, they're adding more space.
These stories, the business news, and more coming up on Almanac North. Hello and welcome to Almanac North. Thanks for watching. Pamela Fish is here this week, filling in for Julie. Welcome back, Pam.
Well, thanks, Jenny. Glad to be here.
Good to have you here again. Plenty to talk about, too, tonight.
There sure is, so let's get started. Well, residents of Duluth went to the voting booth this week knowing they would have a chance to elect some new blood to the city council. 2 incumbents chose not to seek re-election, and another left his position because of a new job away from the city. So because of that, the newly elected 4th District City Councilor will be taking his seat immediately. That man is Howie Hanson, a blogger and social networking consultant who will be on the job as soon as next week. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Is it important that you start right away as opposed to waiting till the first of the year as the rest of the newly elected members?
I think it is only so the 4th District can have a representative on the 9-member council, and it's been a couple months almost that they haven't been represented. So to fill the last 2 months of the former incumbent's term and before I'm seated for my 4-year term, I think makes a lot of sense.
Howie, why did you run for office and what do you hope to accomplish?
Well, I really thought, I did my due diligence early, Danny, on it, and I really felt that I could make a difference, and I think there's a lot of momentum and certainly in the city of Duluth government. I think Don Ness, we're watching who I believe to be probably one of the greatest mayors in Duluth history. So there's a lot of momentum. I think the economy seems to be coming back, and I felt like I could probably make a difference. I'm fairly well connected, as you know, and I'm really positive about Duluth. It's a continuation of my personal mission, which was to build community. So
what do you want to do to make a difference? What do you want to see Duluth become, or what do you want to bring to the city?
Well, I think I'd like to bring some of my skill sets, and that's enthusiasm, vision. I love to be a cheerleader for Duluth. I've been doing it for 40 years. I'm curious to find out if this position will allow me to do some of these things, and only time will tell. But I'm real community-based, and I think it's been interesting in my district, Danny, the 4th District, the Piedmont, Duluth Heights, Lincoln Park, and far western Duluth. That district, up the spine of the inner city, or the middle of the city, it's really become a epicenter for recreation, and that's an area that I'm going to be really focusing on. We've got the Wade Stadium, and that we're certainly trying to get some money for rebuilding that infrastructure. But the golf course, the soccer fields, the new Heritage Center. So it's become kind of a melting pot for youth and economic development and recreation.
You didn't get out and do any door knocking.
No, I didn't.
You ran a social networking campaign. And yet, what were you able to hear from people, and what did they say specifically that they wanted for the 4th District?
Well, the streets, and public safety are always big issues in any district, and particularly in our district. I heard that a lot, and the social functions that I was spending most of my time in. But I think they just wanted to be, they really liked what the Duluth Public School did in terms of, really being transparent with the situation, on what they were going to do with the money. And I think the same could be said for city government. I think they were looking for a continuation, a mandate, if you will, for us to talk about the real issues, that the public investment that we are going to make as taxpayers has to make a lot of sense. And I think people are are supportive of that, but they, we're Scandinavian, and I think we want to be told the truth, and I think we can
So
continue that.
do you think property taxes are being well spent, and do you foresee an increase?
Well, I mean, that's always an issue, and they're always, trying to get money from one pot to the other and stuff like that. Certainly the loss of the revenue from the casino, the Fond du Lac casino, has really created a big dent in the street repair in the street repair fund. And
Yeah.
so I mean,
Duluth's population doesn't seem to grow, so the same number of homeowners are continually to pay taxes, and their taxes keep going up. What can you do in the city council to try to entice people to move here?
well, I think we got to build first of all, we got to work on like we're doing on the non-sexy issues, the infrastructure, and you're going to see a rebuild of the Superior Street, and Kristi might be speaking to that later in the show, but that's something that's really important to do to continue to shore up that I&I issue that we're under mandate, through the WSSD to do. So there's those non-sexy issues. But, when people are coming here and looking to create, move their businesses here and stuff like that, they're looking at schools, they're looking at the arts and entertainment things. And I think, we need to invest to get, in my mind. And, there's an uptick in tourism, and there's also an uptick in new housing starts in our community. So I think we're moving along, but I think, like I was in Don Ness's office today, and one of the things we were talking about was, and I encouraged him that, the sense is that Duluth's got its financial house in order, and that was quite a difference from a few years ago when everybody was panicking about us possibly filing, municipal bankruptcy with the retiree health care. So, they see us doing good things up here, and I think it's all part of a big branding effort on our part.
One of the things I'm wondering about, by profession, you have a community news and sports blog, and you have sponsors for that, organizations and such. Do you see any conflict of interest there when you become a public official?
Great question. I've been in the city attorney's office already. I brought that issue forward. I'm kind of in a unique situation because there haven't been, other than Jeff Anderson, who is a radio advertising person, has never. I've got conflict of interest issues all over the place, and I'm prepared to handle those one by one and to get a legal opinion. I certainly don't want to cross over any of those lines. It's all about integrity, earning respect, and hopefully I won't lose too many dollars, to support my family, but I'm prepared to, be open and honest as I am,
A short answer, Howie. What do you think of the mayor's discussion to move the Irvin out of that slip, fill in the slip, and make a parking lot out of it?
I like the fact that he came out, Denny, early and started the community discussion. I don't think I've heard Don say, this is something that we really want, this initiative. I think he's just saying, let's have a discussion. And there's people for it and against it, of course, and I think that's a good process when we have people engaged in conversation, sharing their ideas, their visions, and see what the result is. For me personally, I don't have a position on it. I guess I like healthy discussion.
Okay.
Well, great. It sounds like you have a lot of healthy discussion ahead, a lot of work ahead for you, but we want to thank you for coming in, and good luck as you get underway as
Thank you.
a city councilor.
Duluth's moving forward.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you being
All
here.
right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Howie.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, let's dig into our news file archive for a look at what was making news 25 years ago this week.
No one would dare tell these contestants their hoots and whistles are for the birds, or even that they're acting a little loony. Loon calling was taken quite seriously tonight. In fact, this woman came all the way from Two Harbors to show her stuff. Some contestants used their hands. Some didn't. Some had to add an extra ingredient, and for some, nothing seemed to work. Contestants were judged on technical merit and artistic impression, and this little bit of a thing walked away with top honors in the children's category. Katie says she learned the loon call from her father, and even though her brothers and sisters know the technique as well, she's not a bit shy about who does it best.
Me.
Colleen Burns, KDLH News.
Well, voters in the Duluth School District said yes and yes to a two-part levy referendum this week. The first vote renewed the current operations levy, and the second is going to add school funding, which should allow the district to shrink class sizes. Also this week, 3 new school board members were elected. One has previous experience on the board, while the other is a 29-year-old newcomer. The third successful candidate was running for the second time. Rosie Loeffler-Kemp won the first district race in Duluth's Lakeside neighborhood. Welcome very much to the program tonight. And there's been a lot of bad feelings, as we know, by some over the passage of the Red Plan or the school district's decision to implement the Red Plan. Do you think now, Rosie, with this election, that maybe some of those feelings are starting to slide by?
Well, I definitely think with the passage of the levy and both questions on the levy that the citizens in Duluth have a lot of confidence in the schools, and they want what's best for kids in the schools. And so I'm just real thankful that they did the right thing in supporting our public schools with the passage.
Now, that money hasn't been specifically earmarked, correct?
Well, yes, it will be focused on reducing class sizes, continued strategies with the lowering the achievement gap, and also updating curriculum.
Reducing class size by hiring more teachers?
Well, that could be one of the strategies, yes.
You've seen the curriculum through your experience on the PTA with your students. Where do you think most of the improvement is needed?
Well, definitely in the science areas and also in the history and social studies areas. We have textbooks, for example, that are very dated, particularly at the high school level, and so those are a couple areas.
We all know that the Duluth School District needs money. Why is there such a hang-up over not selling Old Central High School up on the hill? After all, a new school is going to be built probably anyway by the Edison School Group.
Well, first of all, there has not been a discussion with the administration and the school board yet by Edison for selling Central. So there's not a proposal on the books. That discussion has happened more in the media than it has happened.
Would you favor
directly.
the sale of the school to Edison Schools?
I'm really undecided on that yet. There is a school policy that would need to be changed.
It would be.
And right now, the city is also rezoning the property up there. And when that is completed, there's potential for other buyers and for that property to be marketed in different ways. And so I think that there's a lot of ideas. I did do a lot of door knocking, and after the article in the paper about Central, I got lots of ideas from the public at the doors from all walks of life on how that property should be used.
So you've had experience again, as Minnesota PTA president and with children in the district. School board is something really different, you may find out. And so do you think that parents and kids even have been heard?
I think that the Stand Up for Kids, the referendum committee, involved a cross-section of kids in that campaign. And a cross-section of people, including a lot of kids. I think on the school board right now we have student representatives, which I was excited when that was added on. And I think Superintendent Grunset last winter, him and the school board had community meetings, the Think First initiative, and that involved meetings with all walks of life. It involved meetings with students to get ideas for what vision should we have for the school. And so I think we continually need to involve kids in the discussion. And again, the students for the future is a cross-section of kids from across Duluth that are also very engaged and wanting to be very engaged
Sure.
in school
So
discussions
what
as
is
well.
your vision for the school system? What's the greatest need that the Duluth school system faces?
Well, one of the reasons why I decided to run this time was, one is I have 3 children that have recently graduated from the Duluth schools. They've gone through the Duluth school system. They've had an excellent education, and I currently have a 6th grader at Erdene, so I have an investment with that child as well. I was really excited to be a part of the Think Kids initiative, that the conversations that happened across the community and the goals that came out of that. Some of those goals included creating more welcoming school environments. Some of those goals included looking at how we're going to lower the achievement gap, and the vision that the school is focused on right now is something I support. I want to help see through. And so to pick one thing
Yeah.
is really kind of hard.
Difficult.
But what I would say is I didn't run because I had one agenda. I ran because I felt like I brought in a lot of different experiences on lots of different issues.
Yeah.
And that knowledge and the leadership that I've had in other organizations like the state PTA, I thought I could really add to the discussion at the school
Well,
board.
I wish we had more time. Rosie Loeffler-Kemp, elected to the school board. Thank you so much for being here.
All right, thank you. When the Greater Downtown Council announced they were giving away free space for temporary pop-up stores last week, they had no idea how much demand there would be. Originally, the idea was to fill 6 vacant storefronts during the holiday season. But with so much interest, 8 retail businesses were announced today, and more could be on the way. Joining us now is Kristi Stokes, president of the Greater Downtown Council, and Jennifer Young is the owner of Cookie Temptations, one of the businesses that will be opening a pop-up store. And thanks to both of you for being here tonight. Kristi, seems like you really hit a home run with this promotion. Do you feel that this is one of your stronger ideas?
I think we were a little overwhelmed, actually.
Yeah.
At first, I was something where I said, well, if we get maybe 8 or 10 people interested in this, I think that would be great. And so for us to see probably at this point more than 40 applications.
So
to
pop-up
this.
stores, what are they?
So it's a temporary. So
Yep.
what we said is we had several vacant storefronts and we wanted to activate them for the holiday season, wanted to see life in them, wanted to see the lights on.
How do you do that?
And so we said to businesses, we said, if we can offer you rent-free, would you be interested in coming down? And so that's where we got all of those applications. The property owners really worked with us in order to provide that.
So what did it take, before we go on to Jennifer, what did it take to get a spot, and how did you choose between the applicants that you had?
We really looked at, one thing is we said you have to apply fast. It was something that we wanted some great turnaround because we expected people to be open by November 30th, which is Small Business Saturday. So keeping that in mind, we have about 4 weeks or 3 weeks for people to really get open. So that was a big thing, to have the inventory. And then we started to make sure that they were a complementary fit to our existing retail businesses.
So Jennifer, you're taking advantage of this. You get the free rent for a while.
I am. I'm
These-
excited.
These are not your grandmother's cookies that you brought here.
No,
Tell us
no.
about your business.
What we do is we specialize in gourmet sugar cookies. Everything's designed with chocolates. So even if you see color in our cookies, they're actually white chocolate. We've added coloring. We're the only cookie company in the nation that's taking cookies and designing with chocolate like we do.
Do you have a storefront now?
I do. It's located in Woodland. We've been there 3 years, going on 4. And I've always wanted to go downtown, but it's always an investment. And so this was a great opportunity for me, and I'm grateful.
How long have you been in business?
Since 2009. So we're growing. We're we're growing strong. So.
Kristi, what do you require of businesses like Jennifer's to make this work, to create a partnership?
Well, really, we want to make sure that they're ready by November 30th, and they have to be good ambassadors. You know, we saw them as, for Jennifer's sake, we saw her as a great fit to the downtown. And from their standpoint, the rent is free, but they pay the utilities. So it's really working with those property owners and working with us throughout the time period.
That brings up the question, Kristi, what type of businesses best fit into the Duluth downtown?
Well, it's been a wide range of what we selected from this round, and it's really one of those things where we say we don't want to compete with our existing businesses, so let's have a mix. So we have a little bit from the arts world. We have a lot of people who are doing their own craft, so to speak. So from Jennifer creating the cookies and designing the cookies, to individuals with crafts, to Frost River, who's doing so many different things with the totes and things like that. So I think there are a lot of good things that can fit. What we look for is what can drive traffic, what gets a lot of people there, what brings them in and keeps them in our downtown.
You mentioned empty storefronts. Do we have a significant number of empty storefronts downtown?
We sure don't anymore.
Okay.
We had about 6 or 7 prime spots, and those were the ones we really wanted to see. And so we've even expanded because of this demand. Some property owners came forward and said, let's see if we can fill some of ours as well. So they range from the Skywalk system to Superior Street and onto some of the avenues, hopefully.
Jennifer, will things be different for you in the downtown area than your current location?
Well, that's what I'm hoping so. Currently where we're located, we're kind of tucked away from the corporate sector, and being downtown, I can connect with businesses and build those relationships, and that's what I'm hoping with. And also the visitor trade. You know, we're so kind of far away from downtown that we're not connecting with them either. So it's a great opportunity to meet some new people, and so I'm looking forward to that.
So how do you decide then, hey, the downtown is right for me once this promotion is over?
You know, the numbers will tell. It's really hard. I've been looking at downtown for over a year, and we've been trying to figure out what the projection sales would be, and it's almost impossible to come up with a number of what that would look like. And so this is a great opportunity for me to be able to test the market to see if we can keep a retail store down here.
So
And
for
that's what we're
customers,
hoping.
for customers who know where you are located now, you're going to keep that place open on Woodland
Absolutely.
while you move downtown.
That's
for a
our
bit.
bakery, and so we will continue to produce cookies from there. We're just going to have a retail outlet down here for people who come to Duluth and live in Duluth.
Has the Greater Downtown Council tried to assess how likely it is that some of these businesses will remain, or that more storefronts will be filled up permanently?
Sure, we've talked to a lot of the applicants beforehand and got a feel from them as well as, have you been looking at the downtown market? Is this something you would consider? Would a second location be appropriate for you? So we felt some of those individuals out too. So we see this as a great chance for many of them to take it for a test drive.
Yeah. Is it scary to do that test drive?
It is, and we'll be producing cookies around the clock to fill both the retail store in Woodland and then one here down in town. So it'll be challenging, but it's exciting at the same time.
So the pop-up stores are for what, 2 months?
They are. Well, we asked them to stay operational until January 10th, so just after Christmas.
And any reaction from the existing business owners? Are they welcoming? Are they a little hesitant? What have you heard?
I think they love the buzz that it's creating.
Okay.
I mean, we've gotten a lot of exposure, and not just locally, but regionally. And so that's really created buzz and excitement about our downtown and shines the spotlight on it. And that's good for all of us.
All right, great. Well, we wish you luck with your business venture, Jennifer. Thanks, Kristi, for coming in
Thank
tonight.
you.
We appreciate the information.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you.
Time now for the week's top business stories from Business North. Duluth-based ZMC Hotels will construct a $9.5 million Hampton Inn and Suites in Hibbing. Some details are pending, but the 80-room, 3-story hotel will be built on the former Ogles family food site. It's slated to open in early 2005 and employ about 20 people. Under the pending agreement, the City of Hibbing and IRRB will provide tax increment financing and grants to demolish the former grocery store and provide infrastructure. ZMC is the third hotel developer to express interest in the site.
Bar Engineering is expanding its Duluth office to accommodate a staff that has nearly doubled in recent years. The employee-owned firm will move from downtown to Canal Park by next spring, with more than 100 employees to work from Waterfront Plaza on South Lake Avenue. Bar will lease nearly 40,000 square feet in the historic structure, which also houses the Suites Hotel. Atwater Group, leasing agent for the property, will vacate its own offices in Waterfront Plaza to accommodate Bar. Atwater will move to the Great Northern Building on East Superior Street, which is owned by Atwater's parent company.
A $5.9 million IRRB loan to Delta Airlines will allow the company to add about 107 jobs to its Chisholm call center. The customer engagement facility receives calls from travelers making their flight reservations. Delta currently employs more than 400 there, but hopes to expand its Iron Range staff to 525. The company says employees at the facility exhibit a strong work ethic, making the site an easy choice for expansion. For more on these and other stories, be sure to visit businessnorth.com.
Now, if you have a comment on our show, this is the time to call. Dial 218-788-2849 to leave a message or send an email to almanacnorth@wdsc.org. And don't forget to visit the WDSC website, where you can get the latest program updates, news about your favorite PBS shows, and information about our station. Pam, always nice working with you. I'm hearing rumblings you're going to be back next week.
Let's do this again next week.
I think we can do that.
All
okay,
right.
All right. And we want to wish all the hunters out for the Minnesota Deer Opener a successful and a safe weekend as well. For Pam and the crew at Almanac North, I'm Dennis Anderson. Have a great weekend, everybody, and be kind.
Bye.